Good evening and welcome to the Cuyahoga Heights Board of Education regular meeting on April 27, 2026. It is 6 p.m. We are in the Bonneray Media Center. Will the treasurer please call the roll?
Mrs. Apathy.
Here.
Ms. Pajeska.
Here.
Mr. Rossi. Here. Mrs. Deca.
Here.
Mr. Souchaki.
Here, 5 present, none absent. On behalf of the entire board, I would like to welcome all students, staff, parents, and interested community members to tonight's Board of Education meeting. The board values and encourages public comment on education issues. Anyone having an interest in the actions of the board may participate during the public comments portion of the meeting, and if so, please identify yourself on the sign-in sheet in the back of the room. A copy of the board meeting agenda is available for review on our district's website, and we do ask that you silence your cell phones during the meeting. At this point, if you would all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is a motion to approve the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Ms. Deca,
Second.
second by Ms. Apathy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Deca.
Aye.
Mrs. Apathy.
Aye.
Ms. Pajeska.
Aye.
Mr. Rossi.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Now I'll turn it over to the superintendent for some presentation.
Okay, so the next item we have is a presentation. We have Area Coordinator of the Ohio Department of Education here tonight, Mr. Ron Victor. He has a very special presentation and award to give out.
Thanks, ma'am. This is a very special honor. It's great to see so many people here from the community. This is really an honor for the students, the teachers, the Board of Education, and especially for all the parents. I'm going to read a little statement from the State Department of Education a little bit more. On behalf of the Ohio Department of Education workforce, I'm pleased to congratulate the Cuyahoga Heights School for earning an overall 5-star award for the 2024-25 Ohio School District Report Card. This remarkable accomplishment highlights the district's commitment to advancing academic achievement and supporting student success. The overall 5-star award recognizes those who constantly give their all to creating an engaging learning environment that fosters growth, collaboration, and success. I commend you and your team, Board of Education, for the dedication of providing the students of this community with the tools they need to excel academically and personally. Your work will have a long-lasting impact on the lives of your students. Once again, congratulations on a well-deserved recognition, and I hope this award serves as a source of pride and accomplishment for the community and will continue to inspire success years ahead. I have to tell you that it's a tremendous honor. I was the superintendent of a district very close to this community, Garfield Heights, for 12 and a half years. And I know as a superintendent, when I had an award to present to the community from a state like this, we've never achieved this. There's only 10 districts in Cuyahoga County were awarded this. Only 47 districts in the whole state out of 650 districts. So, and it's quite an honor for this community. So I want to have Matt, and I don't know if the board president wants to come up, but Matt, I want to have you take this banner out. At least you can show it to everybody and hang it with pride. Because it is a tremendous honor for a community and a school district to receive this. And that you're in the elite of this county. So congratulations. It is a tremendous honor, and I'm really pleased to be here. Like I said, I served as superintendent for Garfield Heights City School for 12 and a half years, built a nice school building over there, spent time. I've never had such an honor like this to be able to present to the board of the community. So congratulations. Matt, board members.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. You know, we always talk about this on the opening day, making analogous to a sports team. It is far easier to lose every game than it is to win every game. You can just give up and say, we're just going to go through the motions, everybody's going to participate, and we'll call it a season. But to win every game takes something special. And this is I believe, the third, potentially fourth. I can't remember how many years they've been handing out stars. We have never not gotten 5 stars as a school district. And it's something that should not be taken for granted. It is much, much more difficult to win every game than to lose every game. We need to start with the students and their families that support the state testing effort. It's tough taking these state tests. And some of these kids take 4 in a year. And they do it for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So our students, need to take a lot of pride in this. Our teachers and our support staff who work directly in the classroom with these kids, they need to get a lot of credit for this, because it's difficult to keep focus. It's difficult to keep pushing day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. To our administrative team and to our support staff who clear the path and sometimes support directly, the Board of Education, thank you, and then to the families. If it weren't for the families choosing our school district, holding us, to the highest standard that we hold ourselves to because of them, because of the board, the community, because of tradition, thank you for choosing us, because your students really do become all-stars when they're here because of the quality of people that we have here in this school and in the community. So it's something I'm very proud of, and hopefully, we can do it again, but if not, that's going to be okay. Because I'm proud of every single person in the school district. So, Mr. Victor, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Again, to everyone, especially the community.
Thank you. Yeah, that's off the heels of, the elementary school receiving the ESEA Distinguished School Award. Less than 70 schools across the country receive that award. Not school districts, schools. 50 states, less than 70. Ohio had 2, and we were one of them. So, again, not something we want to take for granted at all.
Right.
In this school district, a lot of hard work, dedication goes into it.
And it was quite a privilege for 3 of us board members and a number of our staff to actually attend that award ceremony in Columbus recently. And it was a very special time, and I'll comment more about that during our section, during our discussion later in the meeting. But any of the board members who were there want to comment on that at all?
I think Mr. Melvin and the staff did a great job presenting, and it's a great honor for our school district, so congrats.
Yep. It was great.
Okay, so let's move on to student recognition. All right, we do have some all-stars here tonight. We're going to start in our high school, work down to the middle school, and then to our little of littles, our pre-K program in the elementary school. So, Mr. Dtre, you are up.
All right. Our first student of the month we recognize is our senior, Tristan Lee. It doesn't appear that Tristan's here today. So I will cut right to what his nominating teacher wrote in his nomination. I've worked with Tristan as his art teacher, his class advisor, and his first-ring leadership advisor. In all my experience, Tristan has always been a reliable, hardworking, and dedicated student. He handles all assignments and tasks with attentive care, often choosing to academically challenge himself with concepts when left with student choice options in order to learn more about the topic. In all that he does, Tristan goes above and beyond the expectations. Tristan is also an excellent role model for his peers, showcasing the values of a Cuyahoga Heights high school student, caring, honest, helpful, and successful. Congratulations, Tristan. Our next student, our 11th grade student of the month, Olivia Castellacqua. Please come forward. She's here with her parents tonight, Vanessa and Dave. She has an older sister who also graduated from Cuyahoga Heights, and she and her family live in Seven Hills. She has been attending Cuyahoga Heights since the 7th grade. Olivia's favorite subject is math. She is a member of the mock trial and the choir. When she is not at school, she is often at work, and her most memorable moment was when her friend fell down the bleachers because she accidentally bumped into her. She
becoming a physical therapist assistant. And here's what her nominating teacher wrote. In class, Olivia can be reserved, but that does not speak to her intelligence and maturity. She works hard in class and in mock trial. I was surprised originally when Olivia joined mock trial last year due to her classroom behavior. She pushes of being silent. She pushes herself in mock trial and has been proven to be an essential member of her team by understanding the cases. Her witness she portrays and won the Outstanding Witness Award at Districts. Congratulations, Olivia. Our 10th grade student of the month, Joey Sachaki. Please come forward. Joey's here with her parents, Chris and Wendy. She is the second oldest of four. She and her family live in Valley View, and she has attended Cuyahoga Heights since preschool. Her favorite class is chemistry. Joey is a member of the cross-country, basketball, and softball teams. Outside of school, she can be found reading or running. What you may not know about Joey is that she is an excellent runner. This past fall, she missed qualifying for our state tournament as a sophomore by just a few seconds. She plans on pursuing a medical career as either an immunologist or an allergist. And here's what her nominating teacher wrote. I would like to nominate Joey Sachaki as the high school student of the month. Having Joey for my third year now, Joey has consistently demonstrated leadership through example and has always been kind to her peers. Not only does Joey take pride in her work, but she is curious. Joey truly strives to understand concepts we learned in class and apply them in various contexts. She is truly a French teacher's dream student, talented in learning the language and manages to always tie in her own humor. I cannot wait to see how Joey continues to improve and grow in acquiring the language. Congratulations, Joey. And our 9th grade student of the month, Remy Bell, please come forward. Remy's here with his parents, Melissa and Eddie. He is an only child, and he and his family live in Brooklyn Heights. He has been attending since kindergarten, and his favorite subject is science. Remy is a member of the football, bowling, and track and field teams. Outside of school, he said he works at the park during the summer. His most memorable experience was getting to play in his first varsity game against Indy this past fall. After college, he plans on working in the field of sports medicine and hopefully on an NFL team. Here is what his nominating teacher wrote. Remy is an outstanding student that pushes himself in AP World History. He has an innate curiosity for the world, and he is well on his way to making the crucial connections in history that allow for a deeper understanding of the content. Additionally, he is a kind and positive individual. He has a bright future at Cuyahoga Heights, and I'm looking forward to seeing him grow. Congratulations, Remy.
Up here.
And next, I'll have Miss Elena Scotton come up to present the middle school student of the month.
Thank you, Mr. Dutray. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start with our 8th grade student of the month, which is Mackenzie Malcolm. I don't see Mackenzie here, so I'm just going to read what our 8th grade team read about.
start off with Hope Gibbous. There she is. Hi, Hope. How are you? Good. You want to stand right there, or you want to stand over here? Okay. All right, Hope lives in Valley View with her mom and dad and brother Jack, who's in 5th grade. She has an axolotl named Axie, which I had no idea what that was. I had to Google it. Apparently, it's some sort of like aquatic lizard, right? Salamander, right. Thanks, Jack. And a cat named Yingling. Her favorite subject is, she's in pre-K, so story time on the carpet. And the favorite thing she likes to do is free playtime and drawing. Outside of school, she likes to play at her house, and when she grows up, she wants to be a ballerina. The pre-K team had this to say about Hope. Hope is truly a joy to have in our pre-K classroom. She is a wonderful role model and consistently shows what it means to be caring, honest, engaged, and safe. She is kind to everyone around her and brings such warm and happy spirit to our classroom each day. Hope brightens our room with her positivity and thoughtful actions. I am so grateful to have Hope in our class. She is truly a light for everyone around her. So great job, Hope.
Right here, Hope.
Right, and last but certainly not least,
Oh, where
Mr.
you going?
Jensen
There you go.
Riddle.
There we go.
All right, Jensen resides in Cuyahoga Heights with his mom and dad and brother Jason, who's in 2nd grade, and his sister Adriana, right? And has 2 cats. His favorite thing to do is to learn his numbers. And then he likes to, his favorite non-academic thing to do in class is building things in class. Outside of school, he loves to play outside, and when he grows up, he really has no idea what he wants to do, so, which is okay, right? Yeah. Here's what the pre-K team had to say about Jensen. So Jensen has been such a wonderful part of our classroom this year. He consistently shows what it means to be kind, supportive friend, always going out of his way to help both classmates and teachers whenever there's a need. Over the course of the year, Jensen has grown tremendously, and that growth is a true reflection of his dedication and hard work. Even when faced with challenges, he perseveres with a positive attitude and determination that is truly admirable. Jensen holds a special place in our hearts, and we are so proud of the person he is becoming. We have no doubt that he will continue to make meaningful, lasting impact at Cuyahoga Heights in the years ahead. Congratulations, Jensen.
All right, we're not going to make you stand up here much longer. Go ahead and have a seat. We will get a photo here in about 3 or 4 minutes, okay? We'll get a photo out in the lobby. I say call a lobby, whatever this is over here with the CHS backdrop. All right. Students and families, again, congratulations for being our Students of the Month. Your leadership and your qualities are recognized by many people, including your teachers, and we're proud of what you've accomplished. So just stick around a little bit while longer. Mr. Suchaki, I think we have the staff spotlight next.
Okay. Well, we'll move right into staff spotlight then for the month of April.
Is there a motion to?
Oh, do we need, you know what, it's not even on there. But yes, we need a motion to approve the staff spotlight for the month of April. Okay, thank you, Mr. Rossi, and Ms. Jessica was the second.
Okay, so I'll read the staff spotlight resolution. So this is for Mr. Doug Didio. He was nominated by Bart Hahn, who's our mechanic. Mr. Didio is a school bus driver and a bus washer, and he's driving a trip tonight, which is why he's not here. Just like before last month, Mr. Hahn couldn't be here because he gets here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and a 6 o'clock meeting gets a little late. So, but we will read the resolution. It says, whereas the Cuyahoga Heights Schools Board of Education is proud to recognize staff members who demonstrate outstanding dedication and service to our students and school community, and whereas Doug Didio serves Cuyahoga Heights Schools with exceptional commitment as a valued member of the Transportation Department, and whereas in his role as bus washer, Doug takes great pride in ensuring that the district's fleet of buses are clean, safe, and well-maintained, while also serving as an extra set of eyes and ears by reporting any concerns he observes. And whereas as a bus driver, Doug consistently goes above and beyond, maintaining perfect attendance, and willingly steps in to cover field trips and additional routes whenever needed. And whereas Doug's reliability, strong work ethic, and readiness to serve reflect his deep commitment to the students and families of Cuyahoga Heights Schools. And whereas Doug and his wife extend their care beyond transportation by creating a welcoming and supportive environment for students, including thoughtful gestures such as providing winter hats and organizing fun activities like coloring contests. And whereas Doug's kindness, generosity, and genuine care for others leave a lasting impression on the students he serves each day. Now therefore be it resolved that the Cuyahoga Heights School Board of Education hereby recognizes Doug Didio for his outstanding service, dedication, and positive impact on the school community. And be it further resolved that we extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude for his continued commitment to the students and families of Cuyahoga Heights Schools, adopted this 27th day of April, 2026. Congratulations to Mr. Didio. It's well deserved.
And now for the formal, and for the formal vote on the motion.
Mr. Rossi. Aye. Ms. Pajeska. Aye. Mrs. Apathy.
Aye.
Mrs. Decker.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0, and now,
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. We're going to get photos out here with the Board of Education. We posted on our website and social media. So thanks for coming, everybody.
comments from the public? There aren't any, so we'll move right on to treasurer's business.
Thank you, Mr. Souchaki. By now, everybody's aware that Board Docs is not working tonight. So Matt did a great job of typing everything up in this Google shared doc that we have in front of us, which is right there. So we're gonna kind of MacGyver this meeting, and bring up the attachments, and show those to you as we go. So, I ask for motion 7A, 8A through 8D for approval tonight in the consent agenda.
Okay, entertain a motion for those items, please.
So moved?
Moved by Ms. Decker.
Second.
Okay, and second by Mr. Rossi.
All right, so 8A is going to be our financial reports for the month of March. We have our lead sheet that we can't see tonight, but it is up there. Hold up. It's a little bigger. So we started the year, it's hard to see, but it's 14.1. Right now, we're on track for 14.9. That means we have a surplus instead of a deficit this year. So we're going from 14.1 to 14.9. We haven't ended the year. Last month, I wrote a number down, and I put it in my forecast, and I told Matt, I'm not going to show it to you till after we close the fiscal year. So I've been kind of tracking where I think we're going to end the year. But again, we're on par to have a surplus, which is good. We've had surpluses for the past, I want to say, 14-some years. Now, last year we had a deficit, but that was a manufactured deficit because we transferred out $4 million. And Matt's able to kind of point out that a number of schools had transferred out, according to the auditor state, to the tune of over $2 billion. Is that right, Matt?
That's correct.
So our $4 million contributes to that $2 billion that was transferred out. So a lot of schools did that plan. But no, we're good standing. We closed last year with the highest cash carryover in Cuyahoga County. But again, cash carryover, while viewed in a positive light from the auditor state's office, maybe some in the legislature view that as a negative light. So it's that careful balance that we want to have out there. So, but we're trending good as we're at right now. So, and I'll highlight the property tax in the discussion point because I know we want to talk about that too. Any questions before I move on to new vendors? Okay. So our new vendors to the school district. And before I go, T2Q and R would be our permanent improvement items. So this one is Q, and we have it up every month, and it's going to show revenue that we have coming in, and we have revenue on the top per month, and then kind of a detail of all that revenue down here in the bottom. And then the other one, R, is going to be our expenditures. So we have them all along the way. Now, sometimes we pay a portion of our fire alarm and security projects, so not 100% of the whole project, but as they complete it, they would bill us in cash requests as we go. So that's why we see multiple items of that. But those correspond to our overall plan that we presented on at the last meeting. Now going to letter B, new vendors, we just have two. And that's going to be Geosport Lighting Systems. That's for the stadium lights. That's going to be on Mr. Young's side. The new vendor we're adding is going to be an estimated amount that we're going to spend $133,200, potentially coming from our athletic facilities master plan. And then Littman is the next new vendor we're adding for use of installation of the scoreboard, the new scoreboard that was presented at the last meeting. $7,100 is the estimated amount, and that would be coming from Fund 30922A, the Trinity Field Rental. 4 is going to be purchase orders over 5,000. We have about a half a dozen. First one is Adler's Sporting Goods. That's for middle school football uniforms. $5,400 coming from our athletic fund. Number 2, we have Rydell All-American Sports. That's for 12 football helmets coming from our athletic account. $5,478.20. Number 3 is Martin Public Seating. That's for 50 elementary school desks coming from our general fund. George, I wasn't sure if you wanted to speak on that at all.
Yes, so in 2018, Dr. Claris had done a pretty extensive in that timeframe. We retool of all of our desks and things like that. And Mrs. Bazidlo had not retired at that point, and she had desks that she had been part of her purchase, and she wanted to see the desks out, through her retirement. They've got to the point now where they're kind of in bad shape, falling apart. We got a whole cabinet full of pieces and parts. We got them caught up with the rest of the elementary school with new desks for next school year. So we had a test went in for a week, and it was like the special desk the kids got to try out. So we got to see like heights and any usage issues, and it was a good solution for that first grade team.
Number 4 is the Ohio Floor Company. That's for the high school, both Flip and North Gym refinishing. That's $20,224. BSN Sports, that's for the new scoreboard. And the Booster Club is going to donate the full cost of the optional arch truss, which is $7,656. That total cost is $28,117, but again, we have that donation of $7,000. Below that is Lippman. That's for the installation of the new scoreboard, $7,100. And Dragonfly Athletics, that's going to be for the payment of sports officials for the beginning of the 2026-27 school year, boys soccer, girls soccer, football, and volleyball, $17,500 for that. And number 5 is going to be for our appropriations modification. So that's coming for all of those athletic items that we would have. The stadium lights, that's going to be on that side, the $130-some thousand. The new scoreboard, Dragonfly, everything involved in that. So we started the year with $615,000 appropriated from the 300 fund. We added $20,000 back in January, mainly for inflationary aspects. It's $250,000 rounded up, encompasses all of those expenditures that we have. The main one being those stadium lights to bring us to $850,000. Any questions on this?
Okay, as long as there are no other questions, follow the roll.
Mrs. Decker?
Aye.
Mr. Rossi?
Aye.
Mrs. Apathy?
Aye.
Ms. Pajeska?
Aye.
Mr. Sajaki?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to this treasurer's discussion.
Yep, just 3 items for discussion. The first one's going to be the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission. So we met with the Budget Commission representatives from there last week, Matt and myself. It was a very positive meeting. Matt, do you want to give an overview before I jump into that?
Yeah, it was a positive meeting, which is good. And what's even better is the number they're coming back with is almost to the dollar, the number that you and David Seed had come up with. It's as if they used your methodology to come up with the amount they were going to reimburse us, because I'm not sure that they could have done it on their own. I don't even really quite understand how they tricked the numbers to make it happen, but it will be legal. But it did involve some manipulation of some of the effective millage.
Yep. So, so we had a positive meeting with 2 representatives from the Budget Commission and Fiscal Office last week, and we just wanted to talk through the amount and just how it's going to be repaid to the district. So this was the first time that they had calculated a number to us. If you remember, at the very beginning, reached out, and there's a whole timeline in the forecast, so reached out basically March of 2025, so around this time last year, reached out to them and said, we're tracking lower revenue for the first half collections. They came back and said, no, everybody's low, don't worry about it, nothing to see there. Said still, all right, doesn't really make sense, but let's see how the second half goes. Second half, lower as well. Asked for the final collection information. Once I had that, it triggered the fact that I knew we were not getting everything we should have. Emailed the Budget Commission again. They said, no, nothing to see there. Everything's right. I said, no, it's not. Kept pressing. Had our legal counsel come too and, back us. And, we kept presenting to them in multiple presentations. I think each time, we got one person convinced and then another person. And then, they were able to go back and see that they did a $90 million valuation data entry error that caused our $2 million shortfall. So we kept pressing, and we even had to come out with a legal letter from our school district to them to press them to, you know, get this thing going. Yep. I'm sorry?
They said we might open.
Yeah, at one point, somebody came out and said, we may owe money, which was just wrong math, silly math. But no, it's, you know, we never stopped, so they came back and calculated a figure, and it's kind of like validation at the end of the day, because we had been saying since the get-go that's over $2 million. There's been a lot of changes over the way. We had multiple DT 515s, which are Department of Taxation and Equalization forms, so they had modified valuations, which when we met with mayors across the street, the fiscal officers of the 3 villages, and I asked them, have you guys ever seen more than one DT 515? What did they say? No.
No.
No. So this is a unique year where there were 3. Just a lot of changing numbers, but I always knew it was over $2 million, and we got that validation. So again, it's kind of a culmination of just mastering the numbers and knowing where we should be as a district and not stopping. You know, not letting them say, you're wrong, Matt, you know. No, it wasn't the case, and kept pushing, and, you know, we're getting what's rightfully due to us as we go. I was joking with Matt if there's a finder's fee, but no. But again, you know, I feel proud of the work we all did, and to the fact that, you know, we knew our numbers inside and out. We didn't let anybody tell us otherwise. We kept pushing with that. And then to complicate it even more, to correct everything, they actually overpaid us. They were going to overcorrect it. So we sat with them, and we're getting a portion of it from omitted taxes, about $700,000, and about 1.4 from the modified effective rate from the Department of Taxation. We'll watch it as we go, and we did collect more this second half. Just wanted to show you, Mrs. Deca. So this time last year in March, we collected 7.9. Now we're at 10.7, so just as a difference. So it's a lot greater right now. So a lot of it is due to the fact that we were lower last year, and we're making up for that because we're collecting what was missed out last year as we go. So we're seeing that, and we'll work with the Budget Commission. It's kind of easy at this point because we know what the number is. We had our legal counsel there as well, David Seed, taking part. But we're all in agreement with the number, and then it's just we'll make sure we get that number as we go. And then hopefully next year, knock on wood, everything's going to work out as it should. So.
Do you mind opening up their
Yeah.
calculation real quick?
Their calculation?
Or
Yes.
whatever their attachment
Yep.
is?
Absolutely. So here it is. Coming down here is the $2,207,000 that was calculated by the Budget Commission. And we can see over here, 1.4 of that is going to be from modification to the effective rates. And then here's going to be the omitted taxes to the tune of about $700,000 when it's all said and done. And it was even weird to kind of see how they were going to do that because, again, they were initially going to do it all with omitted taxes, and then they sent over an updated DT 515 back in November to the Department of Taxation, which modified those rates at that point in time, and then they used that to modify the rates for this year. So there's just a lot of numbers and calculations, and you know, again, just going back to the number of 2.2 and just kind of using that as our baseline and saying, okay, that's what we're going to collect on top of everything from where we're at as we go. So, but it's just a lot of, you know, again, I always say accuracy over speed, and you know, I think we were the first ones to find out it was double corrected, and we had, you know, checked with our legal counsel, and then we called that day from your office to the Budget Commission and explained it to them. And again, they kind of did the same thing. We're like, no, that can't be right, man. We didn't double correct it. And they said, well, explain to me why we're maxed out on a couple of our effective rates. And it's not, you know, as you get into the weeds, and they couldn't answer it, and then they found out it was. So, but yeah, I feel very good for where we're at again. So 2.2 is the number, and we'll just track it as we go for this year. And you know, again, we did it as a team, and you know, we didn't take no as an answer.
Well, thank you for your diligence and keep pressing and getting this worked out and getting a number that, you know, is agreeable on what you thought and getting them to see it. Is the Village of Valley View also collecting on theirs? do you know?
Yeah, and I haven't spent too much time looking at theirs because it's the same yet different, apples and oranges, think of it
Yeah.
that way, so I'm not too familiar. It's been a long time since
Yeah.
I audited, and they use a different accounting software, and it's different kind of fund structures, but there is an amount. I couldn't, I just didn't spend much time
Yeah,
looking at
I
it. I
just
tried to
wondered.
help them as I could, but I said it's
Mhm.
not really, I don't want to say anything
Yeah.
incorrect,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you for all your hard work on this. Appreciate it.
All right, one last thing too, I remember when I was talking with Matt, and I kept saying, all last year, Matt, there's something really wrong, there's something really wrong. I remember saying the amount, I was kind of laughing, I was kind of, like, it's 2 million, it's not a small number. And it just would make me laugh when I'm saying it, kind of like, oh, it's gonna be a hill to climb up to get that, but again, we're there, and we can see the light, so.
Mhm.
I think it's a result of, they've had some turnover at the Budget Commission, and they're trying to do more with less. And I think when you try to do more with fewer people and finances, I think you're going to find that we aren't the only mistake out there. There are likely others. And this could be why, and Matt's going to talk about this, why they're going to be adjusting the tax advances, the number of those per year, because I think when you have fewer people, you got to shrink the work. And that may be a reason why this is happening.
So, leading into the second discussion item, this is the letter from the fiscal office of Cuyahoga County, where they're saying they will no longer advance funds collected from the real property or manufactured homes outside of the regular settlement schedule. So we looked at that last time. Those payments, there are 2 advances, one in January, February, and then the settlement comes in March, and then another one in July, settled up in August. They're going to eliminate the July advance and the advance from February and January. And just to let you see what those actual numbers are, this was this year, March of 2026. Now, this was smaller this year, those advances, and remember, we went back to the Budget Commission and said, well, why are they lower, so much lower, and everybody was kind of panicking. 384,000 was the first advance in January, 735,000, and we got 9.5 million in March. Go back a year prior, we got 291,000, 1.7 million, and 5.9. So they really caught a lot of schools off guard. And talking with Berea, for example, they just luckily had enough money to kind of make payroll and not scramble at the end of the day. So a lot of schools were panicked about the shortfall in the advances, and then they came out and said, we're just not going to advance those anymore. And if you remember, I got about half the school districts in Cuyahoga County together, and we had reached out to the Budget Commission when they were giving us a short amount of those advances. We asked for a meeting, they ignored, they didn't respond to that, and they just gave us a couple sentences to say, yeah, this is the way it's going to be. And then the ESC of Northeast Ohio, came out and said in this email, as you are aware, the Budget Commission has elected to eliminate tax advance payments beginning January. And this is from their treasurer from the ESC. And then we can discuss the potential implications of the county's decision and share messaging approaches. So where we left it, I want to say about 2/3 of the treasurers in Cuyahoga County when we met the other week is that the ESC is going to write a letter on behalf of school districts. So not on behalf of treasurers or superintendents, but everybody, all together as one. So the Cuyahoga Heights schools or Garfield Heights City Schools or Parma or independent schools, requesting a further look or a time to discuss this, because those schools that have a low amount of cash carryover, I think, are panicking about maybe they're not able to make payroll without those advances. So just a lot there. Anything you wanted to tie in with the supers as they were talking?
The superintendents are just finding out about it, really. I think we have talked at the ESC about doing joint superintendent and treasurer meetings so that we can talk about these things with everybody in the room at the same time, as opposed to treasurers doing their piece and then superintendents doing theirs, and we're all fighting about each other's work. We communicate extremely well here, so it's not a problem for us. But Ryan Pendleton from, I think, Shared Service Alliance at the ESC presented this the other day, and a lot of the superintendents had no idea what he was talking about.
And lastly, exploring adding additional legal counsel. So we have two main law firms that we use. A lot of school districts out there use a handful, and it's only you pay as you use them, but a lot have good resources and specialties. So this is back from February of 2020, and in the admin content, I had written, this is an introduction of Ryan Calendar, a partner with Squire Patton Boggs. We would add Ryan to our team as levy legal counsel to assist us with any upcoming operating bond, and our permanent improvement levies. Ryan would be our primary legal counsel dealing with levies, with Ennis Britton operating in a secondary capacity. At this point in time, I anticipate the cost for Ryan's services in fiscal '20 would be a blanket purchase order not to exceed $4,500. And I anticipate we would use Ryan for drafting the ballot language, general levy guidance, assisting with calculating the amount of the levy, and possible order finance committee levy presentations. I do have personal experience working with Ryan from my previous treasurer position, and Squire Patton Boggs has a positive reputation regarding school finance, and this just had a little, why choose them as a law firm. And he's actually here, Manilow, a lot of schools use, and he's actually legal counsel for the county now. So I actually reached out to him about our issue with the Budget Commission. And Ryan's right here. So, but, while we're extremely happy with the legal counsel we have, I think, broadening, just our group, and having them come in and do presentations could be something to explore. So what we would do is reach out to 2 or 3, have them come to do a presentation, and then we take it all in and see, if they could add, expertise in certain areas. There are law firms that, maybe are really good for dealing with budget commissions that are out there, and maybe budget commissions now are becoming, more of a focal point out there. So maybe that's something to also have, just in our, resource pool. So we could reach out, call them, and say, hey, Rick Manilow or Ryan Calendar, I have a question about this. Can you give me some, further guidance? And, those firms that have that good pool of expertise. One thing that Squire Patton Boggs did that I really liked is they had, a one-pager on the timeline for levies. What you needed to do every step of the way, and the deadlines for that calendar year. And I really liked that. And that was something I asked one of our existing law firms. I'm like, do you have one of these? And I showed them this, and they're like, well, we can create it. I'm like, this is really good though. So it's just those resources that they each have that, you can use. Matt, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, on a lighter note, looks like the last time you made a recommendation for legal counsel, a global pandemic broke out 2 weeks later.
That is true. That's
So
why this one's gonna pause.
I noticed that was February of 2020. Did
That
you
is.
actually go through with it? Because I was
No.
not with the district back
No,
then.
we talked about, and that's when we were talking about a levy, and then this is February of 2020, so the next month
Yeah.
was March 2020
Yeah.
when COVID happened and everything flip-flopped. And we were talking about a levy around that time, but once COVID happened, we paused everything.
Yeah, we know down in Medina County, every school district had to go before the Budget Commission. It became pretty contentious, to the point of, I think, 5 of the 7 districts had their funding reduced by the County Budget Commission, and then as a consortium through the ESC of Medina County, they actually filed a lawsuit against the Medina County Budget Commission, and I know the attorney from Pepple Wagner was pretty instrumental in that, and the county dropped their action, at least for 2026. What we've heard is they're going to come back with a vengeance next year. And so it would be good to have somebody who has that kind of experience and expertise, because that package of 5 laws that got passed, back in the fall, the Budget Commission has been given much more authority. That with House Bill 96, they can reduce your voted funds if they feel that it's in excess. We have a good relationship with our budget commission, even though they shorted us $2.2 million. We kept that in the back of our mind the entire time. Matt was always very professional in his relationship with them, because we knew we had to protect that relationship. But should it ever get to the point where, I think with your tax advancement, they've walked it back a bit and said, potentially if a district can present that they need an advancement sooner than the schedule, they can present that to the Budget Commission. If you ever get in a situation like that, it would be good to have somebody with that experience. So I think that's what triggered this. We knew what happened down in Medina County, and then this happened in Cuyahoga County.
Yeah, but we'd like to, with the board's consensus, reach out to 2 or 3 and have them come do a presentation and, again, take it all in and then go from there and have a discussion on it.
As long as we're plugging holes.
Yep.
That's
Right.
exactly what it would be. It's
Because
not
we have
replacing.
had more than 2 law firms before during my years on the board. But and some of them you never used. I mean, you just had a name on the list, you approved it as a law firm, and you never used them the whole year. So I assume, thinking back, that that's why we had multiple law firms to fill in specific needs just in case. So as long as we're approaching it from that viewpoint, and it's not adding any money unless we actually need to use them, then I'm certainly okay with it.
Yeah, you only pay for their service if you use them. So
Right.
if we have a question and we call, right now, if we were to call David Seed or John Britton, we're only paying whoever we talk to.
Right.
So in essence, so if we had a 3rd person or 4th person, we could,
Yeah, but let's not have them just because we want to have a lot more
right.
choices. Let's have them because they have, and you were saying it, Matt, Mr. Young, you were saying, so plug in the needs that we don't have in our current law firms.
Yeah, I think
Fill in
the
specific
emerging
things you're concerned
issues
about.
with budget commissions is something
Yeah.
it's a new horizon, not horizon, a new frontier
Right.
for these law firms. And, I think any given law firm has an expertise,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to lean on that expertise, but you can't, it's tough to be excellent in every
Sure.
part of school operations. Running a school is much more difficult than one would think. And there's a lot of different subsets within the organization. So this was one that we talked about that, there's one attorney for one of the law firms, Ryan Pendleton over at the ESC, says there's nobody who knows constitutional law better than this attorney that he's ever worked with.
Right.
And that means something, because we've seen the Constitution, we've seen it bent and molded in very interesting ways, and I'm talking about the Ohio Constitution, not the U.S. Constitution. So it could be worth exploring. And at
Right.
the end of the day, if you hear a presentation and you're not convinced, just say no, thank you, and we move on.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Okay, well, if you believe that it's the right thing for us to do, and it sounds like it is the right thing for us to do, and you have the time to do it, because you have a lot of demands on your time, both of you. But if we have the time to do it, let's go forward, I think, unless anybody on the board wants to state a different opinion. Okay. All right, so where are we? That ends treasurer discussion? All right, moving into superintendent's business.
Apologize, give me a moment here. Matt, I thought you were going to bring your Back to the Future book with the way we're typing up board agendas from scratch. It's not recognizing my particular device, Mr. Hartman. So, just want to double check here. All right, I got it to work. Train me well. All right, so on the superintendent's consent agenda, I have items 11A through D, item 12A, and items 13, more than that, items 13A through C and 14A through C for consideration.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for those items, please.
So moved?
Moved by Ms. Decker
Second.
and second by Mrs. Apthey. Okay,
I'll toggle back and forth between the item and then the attachments that you can't easily pull up. So the first is to adopt the miscellaneous pay rate schedule for the 2026-27 school year. This is a great time of year where we are doing 2 school years at one time. And so it's time to get ready because the new school year actually starts July 1st for some of our staff members. So once Board Docs is up and running, you actually get to see a side-by-side comparison of the old versus the new. This is just the new. We're eliminating some positions right now, sunsetting those that we currently don't have. Other positions like substitute teachers, we're increasing this by $10. Independence, for example, offers $130 for entry substitute teachers. Brooklyn is somewhere around $150. We were the lowest in the area, so we felt it was necessary to increase that pay. A lot of our other categories here, we're bringing things, trying to be logical with what we're doing, bringing things up to a rate that's equivalent to step 1 on our classified staff scale. So for example, a substitute bus driver would be paid at a rate of step 1 of the 26-27 salary schedule, unless they were a driver who drove for us. For example, Mr. Colas, I believe, is going to, I don't have his official resignation, but I believe Mr. Colas is retiring at the end of this year, Mr. Jerry. But Mr. Jerry is interested in being a sub. And if we pay him at his last hourly rate, that's more enticing than if we knock $10 per hour off of his rate. So trying to make reasonable decisions, and especially with the bus driver shortage that everybody has. Substitute custodian would go to step 1 of the custodian schedule. Any substitute cleaners, cleaning staff, even our summer maintenance folks, we were way below what was competitive at a McDonald's or a Walmart, to be quite honest. We were starting off at $11 an hour, which was minimum wage. We've increased this to $16, $12 an hour to attract high school workers because we've seen a big drop off. But it also standardizes the scale. So you see 16, 12 here a lot because that's our step 1 of our cleaning schedule. Substitute administrative assistant is set to the same as a substitute teacher. It's an 8-hour day. All right, it's not an hourly position. They're here for the full day. And some other things. These are related to summer transportation, extended school year for special education students, as well as some regular positions. And then we added, this was Mr. Muccio's idea down here at 22. We're going to have one of these next year, a 261st day in the calendar. Sometimes you can even have a 262nd day. And it's just a statement saying that when you have, I'm on a 260-day contract, for example. If there's a 261st day of the work year, you would be paid or compensated at your daily rate. So that adds that, so we at least have that memorialized. Next, we have our building hours for next school year. So,
Before we leave this, just out of curiosity, are we having trouble filling some of those positions that you're increasing the pay on?
we had 0 summer maintenance workers last year.
I guess we were having
We
trouble
had
filling them then.
4 the year before.
Okay.
We used to have 12 to 16. We'd have to turn people away. We would
Mhm.
hire typically 8 a year. We don't even have 8. I still think even this year we don't have 8 people yet.
A couple and just recruiting.
Yeah, once they find out the rate is increased after tonight to $16 an hour, that can be desirable to people. It's hard work, though. I mean, it's not easy working in the summer here. There's no air conditioning. You're lifting, you're waxing floors.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of air movement, unless you open up a door. So it's tough work. I mean, it's manual labor.
Yeah.
Seasonal too, so it's, when you hire somebody generally minimum wage, you have an opportunity to go up, so be able to actualize that pay over the course of summer is more enticing for young people and gives them some experience.
These are our building hours. It's pretty much the same. I think we're going to be closing the building a half hour earlier on Saturdays. Mainly because when we left it over till 3:30, people wouldn't leave till 3:30, and then our Saturday custodian was here till 4 o'clock, so they were working 9 hours instead of the 9 hours with a half-hour lunch instead of the 8.5 with a half-hour lunch as intended. Of course, if we have a Saturday where we have a game or something, it states that there at the bottom, that we adjust hours as necessary. So
Mhm.
it's this isn't set in stone, but it does give people kind of an idea. I even added the spring break, so you could see when we're open and when we're closed explicitly. When we're closed, we're closed. We're not opening the
Right.
building, unless there's some very, very special event, which has happened. Letter C, this is the approval of the class of 2026, should they fulfill the graduation requirements over the last month of school. And we're confident that they can, but I've seen many a student get so close, but yet be so far away in the last month of school. But we've got a great senior class, so confident that we'll be recognizing them in a month for their commencement. Okay, next we have the approval of revised maintenance job descriptions. These are for our cleaner, custodian, and tradesman job descriptions. So I'll just pull up one of those. So we're just standardizing these similar to what we did with the administrative assistant position. This is the custodian, for example. We had, I believe, 5 different custodial job descriptions for the various types of custodian. Combined all this together into a single one, noting that if you had a specialty tied to one of those old job descriptions, you have to have the appropriate license or certificate to do that. So the cleaner, for example, they were called housekeepers in the old job description. They're not housekeepers anymore. We're just slowly but surely, as we need to, going to update these job descriptions. Next, under 12, this is employments. We're looking at the reemployment of our classified staff this month. We do certified staff the next month. I'm not sure if I don't think it's going to allow me to rotate that. So you got to look sideways.
It's the arrow top.
This one right here.
Go to the right. Right. Yep.
Oh, you just want me to download it? Yeah, I can download it.
And then I'll flip it. Yep.
And getting there, and there we go. So as a classified staff member, when you're hired with the district, you have 4 contracts that you can be awarded with successful evaluations before you get on a continuing contract. Those cycles are a 1-year, and then a 2-year, a 2-year, and a 2-year. And then you're recommended for a continuing contract after that. And so these were the people who were at one of those areas where they had to go from one contract to another. So for example, you'll see a lot of people who were on 1-year contracts are getting their first of their 2-year contract. This is the second 2-year contract. This will be the third 2-year contract. And then after you've gone through that whole cycle, you see like Mrs. Conti here is recommended for a continuing contract now. She's successfully completed 7 years with the district. All right, so we do this every year. These people will not show up next year because they will be in year 2 of that specific contract.
Mm-hmm.
So you only see these people typically every other year. And then once they're on a continuing contract, you won't see them at all.
Right.
Okay. We'll do the certified staff next month after we clear the evaluation window, which is May 10th. So we can't recommend certified staff until after you clear that statutory date. Next, we have employment. We have our supplementals. So we have 2 in A and B. These are curriculum writing supplementals. These are tied to the contract. You could do a minor revision, a major revision, and then you can create a course that's never been taught at the school district. And so we have a major revision for an AP class. It's AP Psychology. Jordan Vida did the work to completely revise what she teaches in the classroom based on a change at the College Board level. And then Mrs. Castle, she was hired to teach French 1 and 2, but French 3 was based on need or demand. And there was a demand, and so she wrote the curriculum for the French 3 class, which we implemented this school year. So this is her stipend for that. Letter C, these are supplemental positions. The supplemental positions are tied to ticket taking. And again, I can download that and then open it, but these are ticket takers, most likely eligible for the district and regional track meets that are coming up. Okay. All right. Under agreements, contracts, and membership, this is the motion to approve the agreement with GeoSport through the OSC AEPA Cooperative Purchasing Agreement to replace the stadium lights for congregate schools at a cost of $133,000 per the attachments. So again, you'll see all this once Board Docs is up and running, but similar to the Trimco roofing project, we had 4 vendors that were OSC vendors here under athletic field lighting: GeoSport, Hellas Construction, IKEO LED Lighting, PSG Energy Services. GeoSport came in as the lowest, what we felt was the lowest responsible quote for all the vendors that were presented to us by Ohio Schools Council. On the quote sheet, you can see GeoSport was $133,200. Moscow Sport Lighting, which was one of the vendors, $184,585. PSG was $209,875. Yeah, it should be 200, yeah. And IKEO is $160,920. So they came in well, and we had estimated around $185,000 for the project. So this is much less. And I want to go back and make sure I correct this. This is my best go at the board agenda. It's $133,200. And then we had that presentation at the last meeting. Mr. Garish did a nice job of putting that together and working with those various vendors. Next is our annual USDA Child Nutrition Programs Agreement for the 2026-2027 school year. We do receive reimbursements, and Mr. Muccio works with Mrs. Mead on those reimbursements for our lunch program, but we also have the school breakfast program at our elementary school that will be continuing next school year. The middle school and high school was eligible this year. We asked for a 1-year extension to implement that, and then when our numbers came out, we actually dropped back below the threshold. So we're under the threshold where we are required to offer it. Quite honestly, it would be challenging, create a challenge for us logistically. If we needed to do it, we would figure it out. But it's not as easy to pull off as you would think. We had to completely remodel the elementary school cafeteria as a result of this. And those numbers have stayed above the threshold. So that's that agreement. And then finally, we have the agreement with United Fundraising for the purpose of fundraising for our elementary school. United Fundraising, they provide custom supply boxes for parents to purchase. They contain all the items on their child's grade level supply list that we provide them. So we will provide them the 26-27 list, and if you are a kindergarten parent, you can go to this site. They will have all the supplies for your kindergartner in one location. That's if you don't feel like taking a trip to Walmart or Target or one of those other fun places to go to purchase your school supplies. Keep in mind, I don't know if that's on anybody's radar, there is no sales tax holiday this coming year. All right, that was used, the money from that was used to offset some of the losses that would have occurred with, I believe some of those 20 mil.
186 or 129?
Yeah, it was like House Bill 186 or 129 would have caused a large shortfall of funding for many school districts. And so they're diverting the money that they would have earned from that towards those school districts. So it may come back someday, but I don't think it's going to be here for a couple years. So the sales tax holiday is it's taking a holiday, so to speak. Okay? Those are all the items that I had for consideration.
Okay, any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Decker?
Aye.
Mrs. Apathy?
Aye.
Ms. Majeska?
Aye.
Mr. Rossi?
Aye.
Mr. Sajaki?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. So where are we? Discussion and comments.
Just a few things. I'll be sending you the information, but the Chamber of Commerce State of the Schools luncheon is on the 13th of May. Tends to be around that 11 o'clock-ish hour. It lasts a couple hours. It's us, independent schools, the Cuyahoga Valley Career Center, and the ESC of Northeast Ohio. So Tracy will be sending out an email to gauge interest in whether you would like to attend that State of the Schools luncheon on the 13th of May. This Thursday is the CVCC All Boards Dinner.
Right.
You may be talking about that a little bit more, Mr. Suchaki, so I'll just save that for you, but I plan to attend that as well. The group who is gathering signatures for a proposed constitutional amendment to abolish property tax in Ohio, the Axe the Tax Group, they had a news conference last week with the backdrop of the Oval Office. It's a little cartoonish, but should still be taken seriously. They claim to have 305,000 signatures. They need 413,487 valid signatures from 44 of the 88 counties. It's been projected they really should have between 600 and 800,000 signatures because some of those could be, Mickey Mouse from Valley View. And sure enough, Mickey Mouse doesn't live in Valley View. He lives in Orlando, Florida. So some people may have signed it twice, and that would be a double count. So I'll be sending some commentary, some articles that came out recently about that. I'll provide that in my weekly update next week. But just so everybody understands, property taxes are tied to $16.5 million of our budget. And when we use his $19 million budget from the last financial forecast, that's almost 85% of our total budget comes from property tax. So everybody understands that $3 million that would be left over would not be enough to run a school district. And so some mechanism would have to be put into place to compensate from that. 15% income tax, earned income tax. Most people paid around 2.75 this year, so 15% would be substantial. A 20% sales tax, or a combination of those two, is what it would take to replace the funding for this school district specifically. So, it's a serious issue. Nobody likes property taxes, but this school district is set up really well. 76% of our revenue comes from businesses when we're talking about that local tax. And so that's the number that would greatly disappear because businesses don't pay income tax. They don't pay income tax. So it's just something to keep in mind. I've got a lot more information I could put out about that at some other time. I've talked to John Britton. We had talked about doing a board retreat at one point. Once we had everybody on board, he has 2 dates possible. It would be a special meeting because those can last 2 or 3 hours, and they really should be, you go into executive session for that. He threw out 2 dates. June 2nd is a Tuesday. It's before school is out, which may work. And then 4 days later, 4 days later, what's 4 days later? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe the 5th is a Friday night. I don't want to do a Friday night board meeting, but I don't know if Tuesday, June 2nd works for everybody. He has to come in for a law firm retreat himself, and he would be willing to fly into Cleveland, come and do our retreat, and then drive to Cincinnati for his law firm retreat. So could that date work?
Yes.
Maybe.
June 2nd.
It would be at the same time, 6 o'clock, unless you want to. 6 o'clock probably works. He has to catch a flight, and I don't know what time. So I will reach out to him to see if he can be here. Gary, does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. And then, testing is going on right now. This is really the third week of testing, I guess. We had a couple weeks of ELA, and now math and science. Next week, this week is math. And then we have one more state test next week. And, I just can't give enough credit to our students from the past who've worked so hard, their teachers, and all those that support the classroom efforts. That 5-star award is theirs, and it's something that they can be proud of. You've got to earn it every year with a whole new group. It may be the same kids, but they advance a grade level, and the tests are different. You never know how it's going to shake out from year to year. We had 6 calamity days this year. Some school districts in this area had over 10. How is that going to affect the results? Some parts of the state had 0. I don't know where that was this year, but I'm sure it happened somewhere that nobody had a calamity. This was a pretty tough year for all of Ohio. So even your highest achieving school districts have talked. I've heard their superintendents talk about that. So I just want to, everybody, how proud I am, and I want to thank the board for supporting, all of our programs here. The 5-star award, the ESEA award, our Gold Star rating in the pre-K program, PBIS awards, and we can go on and on with the awards, but it's a result of the experiences that are created by the support of the Board of Education and then the people that actually work with the kids, including moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, family members at home. So, thank you.
Okay. All right. You're still on the list, though, because policy review
This
is
is
next.
this is the second reading and adoption of
Yes.
the policy 8500, our food service policy. As I mentioned at the last meeting, it's to comply with House Bill 10, which prohibits the district from purchasing cultivated protein food products or food misbranded as meat or egg products. The district will still be permitted to purchase vegetarian and vegan products, provided they are clearly and correctly labeled under Ohio law.
Okay, any discussion on that item? Hearing none, may I have a motion? Because that is so we need a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Ms. Pacheco,
Second.
and second by Mrs. Apathy. Hearing no discussion, treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Pajeska?
Aye.
Mrs. Appen?
Aye.
Mr. Rossi?
Aye.
Mrs. Decker?
Aye.
Mr. Suchaki?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. And that moves into section 18, board discussion and comments. Anybody? No? Slipping. I have a couple of things. Obviously, we have, as we talked about earlier, the all boards dinner. At 3:30, they will be, and I don't know how it's being organized, but from 3:30 to 4:30, there are tours of the new section. Okay, so if you want to see some of those new buildings, want a guided tour to it, explain what's there, and you can make it at 3:30, between 3:30 and 4:30. And again, I don't know when the last one will be. Obviously, if we're going to eat at 4:30, the last tour isn't going to be at 4:30. So,
Do you have a board meeting that night?
and then we'll have a board meeting at 6.
Yeah. So it's intended to get you in and get you out in a very defined periods of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so it's a 1 hour for the tours, hour and a half for the dinner, and then the board meeting. And as always, I invite them, if you're interested in what board meetings at the Career Center are like, you're there, just stop in and check it out if you're interested. So that's what's coming up this week. And then next week, on the 7th and the 8th, are the outstanding senior recognition ceremonies. There's a reception on each day. The reception starts at 11:30 in the Valley Inn restaurant, and it's followed by the ceremony at 1 in the Commons, which is right next to the restaurant. Okay? It's that open area next to the restaurant. So if you are interested in attending, you need to respond. Okay? And I can do that for you if you let me know. So those are the two things that are coming up at the Career Center. I do want to talk a little bit about that conference that we went to where we received the Distinguished Schools Award, because I was really hesitant about going to that because it's not really a board conference. I mean, what does it stand for again? The Ohio Association of something federal.
Federal programming,
Yeah, I mean, federal, it's not an area that the board normally gets in. It's a more of a treasurer's type of organization. So I was a little hesitant about whether it was worth it for us to go at all, other than, of course, to support our own school, which is worth it. But to stick around for some of the sessions, I wasn't sure whether I thought that was a good idea. But there were a couple of sessions, one of them that really was very, very impressive. There's no way I'm going to be able to duplicate it. But it was called Hearing, Healing, and Helping, Humpty Dumpty. How to apply the Ubuntu philosophy to help scholars experiencing homelessness to thrive. Kind of an awkward title, but it basically was, how do you deal with kids who are homeless and struggling in school, right? That doesn't apply to us as far as I know. But what got my attention was they called it the Ubuntu philosophy, where Ubuntu is a programming language, or operating system. Ubuntu is an operating system. And the name hit me at first. And then I said, well, looking at these other ones, and I'm here anyway, I think I'll go. That session was so meaningful to the person giving it that he had to stop at least twice to recover emotionally. And other people in the audience were there with him. One lady was crying openly, and a couple of others, you could hear them, it's all right. Take the time you need, right, to the speaker, so that he could recover from the issues that he was discussing about what kind of an impact education, teacher, the administrator can have on a student in desperate need. It was impressive. There's no way I'm going to be able to tell you what it was all about. I can't possibly repeat or describe to you the discussion itself. But it was more than worth attending.
Yeah, we have had some students experiencing homelessness in the last couple of years. We also have students in foster care. We have court place students. And that's where the grant funding can be very helpful. We have in the room right below us, we have a whole cabinet stocked full of essential supplies. So should a student or family experience homelessness and they need things that they cannot get on their own immediately until we can get them connected, we can supply that right now, and it was purchased with some of our grant funding dollars. So we don't have a large population, but one is all you need.
Right.
And I think it highlights, here in public schools, we're responsive to every student's need to the best of our ability, and we're ready. And it has happened. It happens at least once a year. We have
Someone who,
some family or an individual child experiencing homelessness.
at least for part of the year.
Yes.
Wow. So it does affect everyone, but this was a gentleman from Youngstown city schools, and it was every day in large numbers that he was dealing with. It was just one of the best sessions I've ever attended. I encouraged him to sign up for OSBA to do a session.
All it takes is a house fire and you've got homelessness.
Mhm.
And it's not because of, what's that? Yeah, we had a family, a tree fell on their house and they needed to have an alternate place to stay. So we used those funds to transport the student from wherever they're staying. So, yeah, it shows up in many ways, and
Mhm.
I can understand how it gets emotional.
Yeah. And we are here for all of those students, right? Which is what sets us apart from the private schools. all of the private schools, parochial, private. They don't have to take those students. We do. And we do take them. The next presentation I went to was also very interesting. Not in the same way, but it was perhaps the best technical presentation I have ever seen at a school board function. This guy had, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do such a good presentation, a PowerPoint presentation like that. And the way he jumped through it, he was so extremely well prepared. I went up to him and complimented. I told him, I take pride when I give presentations, formal presentations. I said, I can't touch what you just did. That was fabulous. The message, they say the medium is the message, and in that case it was, because the message itself wasn't nearly as good as the medium that he used to convey it. But it was still an interesting presentation. I'm glad I went to it, and I think that was a good thing for us to do, to go to that when those of us who could make it. To be there to support our staff members, and then in my particular case, to have the opportunity, I decided to go for the whole thing, so I had an opportunity to see all of the presentations, and they were good. They were good. Matt, what did you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's, we're able to meet our grants coordinator, so that's always, important. We learned that we have a changeover in our grants coordinator, our OD rep, so, just to hear kind of some of those technical aspects from ODE. But, like you said, there's some, powerful impact ones. The first night they had an astronaut come, and, just, for me, it was kind of interesting hearing stuff in space, kind of seeing some of it, so that was just,
Yeah,
but a lot of stuff there, a lot of good stuff. And our team, again, their presentation was, was really a joy to watch, and just, how they got up there, interacted, shared, and that we were presented with an award for a title usage
Right.
over there, so, it was a good conference.
Yeah, only 2 in the state of Ohio and less than 100 nationwide. And we were asked, just as a reminder, we were asked to apply for it. They approached, ODEW approached us and said, you should apply for this award. So that says a lot about what our administration is doing for the students in this district. And I keep saying I can't imagine being on, the privilege of being on 2 boards of education of 2 such outstanding districts. The Career Center's well-known too, Our Career Center does an excellent job as well, so. Getting back to where I started, I hope you can all make it to the dinner. Is everybody are you all planning to be there? You're not.
I cannot.
I can see.
I
it
moved
on
my
your
daughter back to
face.
college, yeah.
Okay. So, rest of us will be there? Yes, no? Give me a funny look. You- Probably not, okay.
Daytime things are not.
Well, it's not, yeah, that's true, it is daytime. 4:30 is the dinner. I understand. I spent quite a few years in that schedule. Now I have a different schedule, and believe me, you can get really busy even with this schedule. See if that covers everything. I think that covers all the main stuff I wanted to talk about myself. So, one last opportunity, anybody else? Just a little side note. When I joined the Career Center, one of the things we did not do was have presentations like this from all the board members. So I suggested that, and they ended up putting it on the agenda. And now, every time we have a meeting, everybody turns and looks at me. And I'm not the one who talks the most. There's another board member who's really taken over that role and has more to say than I do. But everybody turns, as soon as that item comes up on the agenda, they all turn to me. Okay. Future agenda items, anyone? Okay, informational items then. It should be noted Board of Education members received their agendas several days prior to the actual meeting and have had considerable opportunity to study, ask questions, and so on. Upcoming regular board meetings, Monday 11th, May 11th, which is a work session, May 26th, which is a regular meeting, and then June 8th, after school is out, is our next work session.
That May 26th is a Tuesday, just so everyone.
Yeah, 'cause of the holiday.
Holiday, that's Memorial Day holiday, and the 25th, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I have, yeah, I'm
Just an
sorry.
FYI.
This is the
Yeah, oh,
fake,
it should be the 27th.
yeah, this is the pseudo false agenda.
Yep.
Yeah,
It should be okay on the regular. Thank you for pointing that out.
oh, sure.
Okay, thank you for catching that. Okay, we do not have anything for the executive session, is that correct?
No,
Or
we do. G1 and G5.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Last time we discussed it,
take long.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be there or not. So I hereby move that the board adjourn to executive session pursuant to ORC 131, 22G1, and G5. No action will be taken after the session. May I have a second, please?
A second?
Okay. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Sajaki,
Aye.
Mrs. Decker,
Aye.
Mrs. Abbott,
Aye.
Ms. Majeska,
Aye.
Mr. Rossi.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. It is whatever time it is,
7:37.
7:37.